It's 6 p.m. time for the news bulletin on Channel 2. I am Bethha, and starting off with the main headlines of the day. President Sisi meets United Arab Emirates President on bilateral ties and regional developments. Prime Minister Madbouli witnesses the launch of second Mount Galila Towers and Marina project. And new group of Palestinians to return to Gaza via Rafah as 4 killed. Welcome back. The news in full. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and United Arab Emirates President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan on Monday asserted the significance of Arab solidarity at the current delicate juncture facing the Middle East. During a meeting in Abu Dhabi where President Sisi arrived on a short visit, the two leaders discussed unfolding developments in the Middle East, notably the updates in Gaza. President Sisi and Sheikh Mohammed said the complete implementation of both the Gaza ceasefire deal and U.S. President Donald Trump plan is a must, calling for increasing flow of aid into the Strip, especially as the holy month of Ramadan approaches. The two leaders emphasized the significance of pushing forward the peace drive in the Middle East based on the two-state solution. They also reiterated the significance of continuous efforts to settle regional crises using peaceful solutions. Over bilateral ties, the two leaders held consultations over expanding them, notably in the trade and investment. President Sisi thanked the UAE president for hospitality and asserted Egypt's openness for more Emirati investments, describing bilateral ties as a mainstay for Arab national security and also regional stability. Later, President Sisi and his Emirati counterpart made an expanded inspection tour at the Mohammed bin Zayed University for Artificial Intelligence, where they reviewed examples of innovation in the field of advanced technology. After wrapping up his brotherly visit to the UAE that lasted several hours, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi returned home. Presidential spokesman Mohammed al-Shinawi announced the president's return. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli on Monday witnessed the launch of the second Mount Galila Towers and Marina project in Ain al-Sukhna. The £50 billion investment is part of the state vision to achieve Red Sea development and enhance investment opportunities there. The launch ceremony of the second Mount Galila Towers and Marina project in Ain al-Sukhna was held at the cabinet headquarters in the new capital. During the ceremony, Prime Minister also witnessed the signing of several cooperation and strategic partnership accords with a group of leading world corporations in the field of urban planning, hotel management, and sustainability. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli stressed that resettlement of the returning families to their housing units in Darb al-Labana neighborhood in historic Cairo is a clear message of a state keenness to achieve a balance between heritage and improving the quality of citizens' life. This came during their Prime Minister's follow-up visit to the housing units in the area after the completion of the restoration works. Madbouli noted that what has been achieved in Darb al-Labana serves as a testament of state aspirations to redevelop various areas in historic Cairo and other ancient sites through sound planning, precise execution, and close cooperation between state institutions and residents. Welcome back. Egypt condemned latest Israeli decisions approved that aimed at deepening the illegal plots of forcing an Israeli annexation of the occupied West Bank. The Israeli measures reportedly included facilitating crimes of seizing Palestinian properties and allowing Israeli authorities to administer Islamic religious sites in Hebron, including the Ibrahimi Mosque. Foreign Ministry statements said these measures are flagrant violations of the international law and they force deliberate change changes to the historical status of ancient and religious sites in occupied lands. The statement added that the Israeli measures run contradictory to the Hebron Accords of 1997, asserting total rejection of the policies of settlement and any unilateral measure that undermine peace and the two-state solution. Egypt also joined several other Muslim countries on Monday in condemning Israeli measures to force Israeli sovereignty and control of the occupied West Bank. Joint statement by the foreign ministers of these countries said illegal Israeli measures paved the way for more settlements and to force new realities in order to accelerate annexation of the occupied Palestinian territory. The statement was made by Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, the UAE, Qatar, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Turkey. The European Union also condemned recent decisions by Israeli Security Cabinet to expand Israeli control in the West Bank. EU spokesman El-Anouni told journalists that this move is another step in the wrong direction, adding that the EU considers Israeli presence in the West Bank as illegal. The State of Palestine called for an urgent meeting of the Arab League Council to probe an action to face recent Israeli measures that serves the plotted annexation of the West Bank. On Sunday, Israel's Security Cabinet approved a series of steps that would make it easier for illegal Israeli settlers in the Palestinian territory to seize Palestinian properties. The West Bank is part of the territories that the Palestinians seek for their independent state. However, much of it is under Israeli military control, with limited Palestinian rule in main cities. Six group of Palestinians returning to the Gaza Strip arrived at the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing on Monday. Source at the crossing said Egyptian Red Crescent is facilitating their return with concerned authorities. Meanwhile, health authorities at the crossing are ready for receiving 6 groups of wounded Palestinians and patients ahead of their evacuation to Egyptian hospitals for treatment. The 134 Gaza-bound aid convoy was launched as part of Egyptian efforts to offer tens of thousands of tons in humanitarian aid. 4 Palestinians were killed by Israeli occupation army fire in the southern Gaza city of Rafah on Monday. Welcome back. East African bloc IGAD on Monday welcomed Sudan's decision to resume its membership in the group, asserting the move serves to assert collective commitment to peace, stability, and cooperation across the region. Sudan announced it was returning to IGAD 2 years after freezing its membership. Details follow.
Sudan on Monday announced it was returning to East African bloc IGAD 2 years after freezing its membership over a decision to invite rival paramilitary chief Mohammed Hamdan Daglo to a summit. Sudan has suspended its membership in January 2024 after the bloc invited the head of rival group, the Rapid Support Forces, to a summit in Uganda to discuss the country's brutal conflict. The RSF has been at war with the Sudan's army since April 2023 in a conflict that has killed tens of thousands, displaced 11 million, and caused one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. The Foreign Ministry cited a statement by IGAD which reaffirmed its full recognition of Sudan's sovereignty and unity of its lands and people, and pledged non-interference in member states' internal affairs. The decision to rejoin IGAD follows a meeting in January between the bloc's executive secretary and Sudan's Prime Minister Kamel Idris. Following the meeting, the bloc issued a statement saying it condemns all forms of violations committed by the Rapid Support Forces and reaffirms its full support for unity and sovereignty of the Republic of Sudan as well as its existing national institutions.
Ali Larijani, an advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and Secretary of its National Security Council, will visit Oman on Tuesday following indirect U.S.-Iranian talks there. U.S. and Iranian diplomats engaged through Omani mediation in the Gulf Arab state last week in an effort to revive diplomacy amid a U.S. naval build-up near Iran, and Tehran vows of a harsh response if attacked. In a televised statement earlier on Monday, Khamenei called on Iranians to participate in the coming anniversary of the Iranian Revolution, whose 47th year will be celebrated on Wednesday. Kiev military said on Monday that Russian forces are trying to press forward around the city of Pokrovsk in eastern Ukraine as Moscow seeks to capture the whole of the Donetsk region. Nearly 4 years since launching the war on February 24, 2022, Russia occupies almost a fifth of Ukraine territory, including the Crimea Peninsula and parts of eastern Ukraine occupied before the war. Japanese Prime Minister Senator Kaiichi said on Monday she is open to dialogue with China after a coalition swept to a historic election win on Sunday. The conservative Takaichi, Japan's first female leader, told the news conference that there is already exchanges of views with China and they will continue. Welcome back. Minister of Petroleum Karim Badawi on Monday held a meeting with officials of global petroleum companies in Egypt to develop a mechanism for the upgrade of the drilling technology and drilling fields as part of the state 5-year plan to double the local production of crude oil. Badawi pointed out that Egypt achieved a stability in local production thanks to adopting a number of incentives to boost production rates, stressing the necessity of expanding horizontal drilling. He called on foreign investment partners to pump more investments to help Egypt find and adopt new drilling methods. Minister of Investment and External Trade Hassan El-Khatib on Monday hailed the historic ties binding Egypt with Germany based on mutual trust and active investments. The minister made these remarks at the opening session of the Egyptian-Germany Business Forum in Cairo in the attendance of the German State Minister for Economic and Energy Affairs and the German Ambassador for Egypt. Khatib clarified that there are more than 1,500 German businesses operating in the national market with nearly $4.9 billion investment value, in addition to the bilateral trade exchange volume, which reached $5.1 billion in 2025. Egypt's bourse closed higher on Monday amid purchases by local corporations and local and foreign investors against a sell-off by Arab and foreign corporations and Arab investors. Benchmark index EGX 30 rose 0.5%, and the equal weighted indices EGX 70 and EGX 100 soared 0.1%. Welcome back. Title holders Pyramids came from behind against Nigeria by Rivers United to clinch 4-1 away a win in the CAF Champions League 5th round group stage qualifiers. Pyramids have a 6-point lead in Group A with 1 round remaining against Power Dynamos of Zambia. Bayern Munich, Luis Diaz scored a hat-trick and Harry Kane grabbed a double in a comprehensive 5-1 win over 10-man Hoffenheim Sunday to ensure the reigning champions restore the 6-point lead at the top of the Bundesliga. The win helped Bayern advance to 54 points from 21 games, and Hoffenheim stay in third spot on 42 points. Dear viewers, by that we come to the end of our news bulletin. Thanks for watching. That was Basma Taha signing off.